It's your boy Terry. It's Double Shot Monday. Some things came up I was just going to address since the last video. Um, a commenter asked if we are buying or renting our props for Downton Stabby. We're probably going to buy them. That sort of atmosphere and being a kind of uh, light, mobile, and ready to go theater company. We're going to keep them somewhere in a trailer, and anytime someone calls to book us for a show, we just fill the truck and go to the next spot. So we're going to need like a 360 revolving wingback office chair or bar stool or something like that. We're going to need like a drink cart kind of thing. An old-timey telephone, some handcuffs, that kind of thing. If you would like me to post a list of things that we need on the Patreon page, and if you would like to purchase any of those things off of the Amazon or the costume shops, or the big ticket item right now is a light rack that runs about $220. But I think with when the April Patreon conveys, I can get that for the May show. I think we'll be okay for April and May. Then for the June show, I can get that light tree. So don't feel like you have to do anything further than what you're doing if you're already contributing to the Patreon. Your contributions are greatly appreciated. And please feel free to spread that Patreon love to whoever you think might be interested in supporting our little theater group. Couple of pop culture topics I missed earlier today. I did complete season 2 of Jessica Jones, the Marvel series. I'm not sure if we talked about that yet. I really, really liked the first 3 to 5 of the 13 episodes. Then it doesn't have a strong central villain. I'll just tell you this: it's a mother and daughter story, not quite the same way that, actually, in many ways, the same way that Lady Bird, the recently nominated Best Picture film, sort of the same dynamic, but the Jessica Jones one being from the Marvel Cinematic Universe involved superpowers. So there you go. Not a real strong central villain, which is the problem with a lot of Marvel properties. The villains are either kind of lame, or if the villains are not lame, they kill them. I won't give you any spoilers, but 2 or 3 of the most interesting Marvel villains, ding, 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 head scratch, have been killed off in their respective movies. Not the least of which, the best one out of all of them, was Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger in Black Panther. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Black Panther yet, you're the one person on Earth who hasn't. So there you go, Jessica Jones, C+-ish. If you're into the Marvel Netflix series, you don't have to watch it. Maybe watch the first 2, middle 2, and then the last 2, because not a lot happens that changes throughout there. Just they shuffle the deck chairs, and a lot of those episodes very much felt like filler. Well, we know we have to fill 13 hours, so let's stretch this out. Let's stretch this out. Let's go back and revisit that sort of dynamic, and then that. And it could have been a 6, 7 episodes season. But hey, Jessica Jones got to eat. That director of photography got to eat. The grips got to eat. The gaffers got to eat. The guy holding the boom mic, he's got to eat. So take all the time you want to make those shows, and I will continue to consume them. I read a great book about 4 or 5 years ago. It's called Ready Player One, and it's written by a guy named Ernest Cline. Cat, you getting that cat action over there? Where is she? No, right there. She's a sneaky one. The book is called Ready Player One. It's set in what they call a dystopian future America, where we're running out of resources. Trailer parks are not just trailer parks; they're trailer parks with trailers stacked on top of each other in these sort of almost skyscraper stacks of trailers. And it's just a bad future, so everyone escapes into this online virtual reality universe where you can sort of be anything you want. So the whole world is plugged into this virtual online role-playing game. Now, the book is a fabulous read if you're male and of a certain age. That would be my age bracket to maybe my older brother's age bracket, sort of 45 to 60. Because it's just steeped in 70s and 80s nostalgia. I found it to be quite a wonderful book. It's not a perfect book, but just the constant surprise and the references really. I got maybe generously 50% of the references because some of it was before my time, a little bit after my time, but enough that hit the sweet spot where I just really enjoyed that book. And I won't spoil anything because the big Steven Spielberg movie adaptation is coming out very soon. Ready Player One. And for me, it hit the sweet spot. I think I'm going to enjoy this movie no matter what. But it's kind of like if you remember Who Framed Roger Rabbit and going, oh, look, there's that character. Look, there's that character. That is very much what Ready Player One is going to be. It's going almost every frame of that movie you can tell is going to be filled with pop culture references. I often enjoy pop culture references in the right dosage. Some movies and TV shows kind of overdose on the pop culture references. Put it this way, my two least favorite films of the last 15 years, one was called Shark Tale. When my little ones were real little, we went to see this movie, and even though they were little, it's still $6 a ticket, 10 for me, 30 for Candy. So it's still a $75 day out. It's more like $125 nowadays. But it's still a $75 day out with the kids to get out of the heat, go sit in the movie theater in the air conditioning and eat some popcorn. And Shark Tale was by DreamWorks Animation, which is kind of like Pixar Junior. And a perfectly fine, it was right around the time of Finding Nemo, so then DreamWorks made their fish story. It's like when, it's like the Marvel and DC rivalry. Well, the DC had the Flash, so Marvel makes Quicksilver. DC has Green Arrow, so Marvel makes Hawkeye. So it's sort of competing interests. I completely lost track of what I was saying. Oh, Shark Tale is kind of the knockoff Finding Nemo. It was like Will Smith, Martin Scorsese was doing a voice. I think Robert De Niro did a voice, and it was just every line from that movie was a line from another movie. And I got so angered watching that movie. I almost walked out with my 1, 3, and 5-year-olds, but all they saw was bright colors. Daddy, Twizzler. I believe I wrote a review of that movie for Exit Zero magazine. At that time, I was doing my Undertow column and also like a movie DVD review section. I was like, if a script is made up of solely parts of other scripts, is it really a script at all in that sense? My big question for that show. And then it came from Shark Tale, which gave me a very stark realization that sometimes movies are just huge flaming wastes of celluloid and many, many pixels. Another script like that was Batman and Robin, infamously the worst of the 80s and 90s Batman movies. This one starred George Clooney and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and just every line in that movie was some kind of ice pun for Arnold Schwarzenegger, who played Mr. Freeze, some kind of flora or fauna pun for Uma Thurman, who played Poison Ivy. I was so rarely get angry at the movies, and this movie made me actively hate being in that movie theater. I was kind of holding out hope because it's a new Batman. I kind of liked George Clooney back then. I don't like him now, but that's for other reasons I'll try to remember to get into. And just within 15 minutes, you just knew it looked as cheap. I knew Schwarzenegger got like $25 million to make this movie. Uma Thurman got a whole bunch of money. George Clooney got a whole bunch of money. All these people made millions and millions of dollars to produce this movie that was worse than an episode of the old 60s Adam West Batman. But at least there they knew they were making campy, sort of bad television. This was, I just couldn't. When Arnold Schwarzenegger says, "Ice to meet you," I'm like, what? Is that a play on nice to meet you? Yeah, we're going to make a chilling instead of we're going to make a killing. It's like, I sat like this in the theater. That was my face. This is my Batman and Robin face. Really? Really? And I remember turning to my wife, was then my girlfriend, maybe fiance at that point. We're talking 97, 98. And I looked at her. She's sitting here. This is us in the movie theater. And I'm looking at the screen. And I said, "Hey, Kath, you know what this movie needs? More ice puns." Chomp, chomp, chomp. Oh, I was so... we stuck it out to the bitter end. I even forget what this... Oh, if we're going back to Ready Player One and Roger Rabbit. You're going to want to see Ready Player One at least once just to get the main story, which is kind of a chase. The man who invents this online game leaves an Easter egg at the center of it. And whoever discovers this final Easter egg or the final key, whatever the red herring is, owns this online world, which of course is worth billions and billions of dollars. And everyone in the world is poor, so everyone wants it. So it's kind of a chase movie to figure out these puzzles and get to the end, which I thought was a fine plot for the book, a fine reason to write this really, really deeply researched piece of nostalgia. And I'm looking forward to the movie. I know a lot of people aren't. I know no one's supposed to like anything anymore, and a movie can't just be a movie. I mean, good God, the lead up to Black Panther, it was this huge political movement, and I started my hashtag actually trended for like 1 hour on Twitter. It was like hashtag It's Just a Movie. And there are stories, ding, 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 face rub. There are stories coming out about African Americans who were getting up and leaving Black Panther and demanding their money back because it wasn't political. It's like, well, this is the 18th Marvel movie, and if you've seen any other 17, they're not really political. I mean, a joke here and there, which, it's fine. I get it. I'm conservative, so they're all conservative jokes. But at least they weren't heavy-handed. And have you not seen the other 17? And I get it. By the way, Black Panther just became one of the highest-grossing movies of all time. Just broke $1 billion. So they're doing something right. And I'm glad for Black Panther. I think it's awesome. Anyway, Ready Player One. Read the book. At any local library. It'll take you about 3 days to read it because it's not heavy lifting. It's not, again, Of Grapes and Wrath or Farewell to Arms. It's a good book. Oh, I'm at 80 pages now in the Obsidian Chamber. Still no Agent Pendergast. It's getting interesting. And I'm scrolling here through my notes. I'm a big comic book guy. I grew up on the Marvel comics of the 70s and 80s. My brothers had the original Fantastic Four and Daredevil and X-Men and Spider-Man and all those comics from the 60s. Of course, they got thrown away when they moved from California to Pennsylvania. I wasn't born then. I was born in Pennsylvania. The only O'Brien person not born in California of my siblings. But they had all of those original stories and comics that got thrown away. And then the ones we kept, we traded for baseball cards. And then the baseball card market crashed, and then we traded our baseball cards for comic books, and then the comic book market crashed. That's why I don't play the stock market. Anyway, one of the main voices, guiding forces behind Marvel Comics, modern era, Stan Lee, is apparently not doing very well. He is like 95 and recently lost his wife of 60 plus years. A lot of times people of that age, they lose their significant other. They sort of tend to follow rather quickly. I've seen it happen personally twice, not in my family, but in friends' family and extended family. Very sad, but I'm going to be, if I go first, I hope Catherine dies right after I do. But if I'm 95 and Catherine goes, I'm like, okay, that's it. Kids are grown, all good. They got kids. Everyone good? Everyone good? All right. Peace out. I'm out. So he has recently been tied to the Me Too movement. Here comes Winter Storm. What are they up to? S? Winter Storm Steve? Is this what this one's called? Steve Storm? And I'm a little delirious. I've been doing nothing but driving and going to doctors all day. We think Henry Owen had his physical for tennis. Henry, we think he broke his finger playing basketball the other day. And in true Terry and Catherine parenting fashion, we let them sit with a broken bone for a day or two before we take them to the hospital, because that's what happened with Owen's broken ankle and Jackson's broken leg. It's just a sprain. It'll be better tomorrow. Of course, I wasn't here when those injuries happened, so it wasn't me. who said, "Oh, it's just rain. They'll be fine in the morning." It was me the next day that said, "Oh my God, their legs are broken." But I'm not here to assign blame. But clearly, my wife's fault. Oh God, Catherine, don't watch this one. Don't tag Catherine on this one. Anyway, Stanley is apparently not doing very well. I'm sure we'll be hearing in the next few days or even a few weeks that he will have left this mortal coil. He was dragged into the Me Too movement, but I think it's a little much for a man of his age who probably doesn't have all of his faculties. At his public appearances, you can tell he's being sort of very heavily coached on what to say and where to be and how to act. As guys that age just get, shit stops working. And if you'll pardon my French, there's a great song by Warren Zevon, the great singer-songwriter Warren Zevon. The song's called "My Shit's Fucked Up." Went to the doctor. Said, "Doctor, I don't feel good. What's wrong with me?" The doctor says, "Shit's fucked up. Stuff that used to work, don't work no more. Your shit's fucked up." So there you go. I think that's what's happening with Stan Lee. He has an advanced case of natural causes, as they say. I wrote that line in one of my plays, a Sherlock Holmes play. I'm not sure if I wrote that or if I co-opted it from somewhere. I do not claim ownership of that line unless I came up with it, in which case it's the best thing I ever wrote. Ready Player One, okay. Walking Dead, I'm kind of out of Walking Dead, so we won't get into that. The X-Men movies are a big mess. I'm kind of scrolling through a pop culture website here and it brought up a couple of ideas of stuff I wanted to talk about. We are in the midst of securing. We start Downton Stabby rehearsals on the 26th of March. We always traditionally start any new show with a table read, a read-through. It'll be the 5 actors in that play, and our tech person is sort of say, okay, lights up, lights down, play song. We're looking for a rehearsal space to have our first read-through. If any of you want to offer your homes to let I and 5 of my friends come take over with, maybe there might be a case of beer, there might be a bottle of vodka involved, we could bring a pizza. If not, that's fine. We have secured a rehearsal space in the Stone Harbor. But if somebody wanted to host us for 3 hours on a night coming up next week, that we would take that too. But don't feel like you have to, because we have a spot if we can't work it out. I just had a nice conversation with my boy, Chris Nagel. He of 94.3 Wibbage FM, WIBG. This is Chris Nagel. You're listening live to WIBG. This is my Chris Nagel voice. I'm now on the radio. Hey, I'm Chris Nagel. Listen to me. I'm on 94.3 WIBG, and I'm a big nerd because I wear glasses, and I have a wife, and I have a baby, and another baby coming on the way. And I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm being an old-time DJ. Hold my earpiece in. Now I'm sort of getting into old Pepperidge Farm remembers. I'm not sure what's happening here. I need some medication. Chris Nagel, love you. Great talk earlier. Don't show Chris this video either. That's it. I just wanted to pop in a couple of subjects I hadn't hit earlier. Also a reminder that Bill Catarini, myself, and I believe, ding ding ding, face scratch, Sue Pulsar are playing this Saturday at Carney's. That is 2 to 5, and then 7 to 10. It's the polar bear plunge, the ice plunge, the plunging into the cold liquid of the ocean of the Atlantic. Ooh. Yeah, I think I'm going to take a nap. You know what to do. Hit the bell, hit notifications, share this, link your friends, hit the About page, my email, my Twitter, my Facebook, and my Patreon. Peace! Be good.